For full disclosure, to the ones who think what I'm about to share is nothing more than a story conjured up to scare people, please note, not everyone is who you think they are. Many years ago, I'd say about a decade and such, there was a woman whom I was introduced to by my parents. I never knew her name and was told to just call her Aunty, or in my native language, Pao. She had a wonderful smile, a smile that would turn your frown upside down. She babysat myself and my siblings, though I always felt she would prefer to just babysit me, since I was the eldest, and listen to her tell me all of her stories. This went on for about a few months, with her babysitting us and such. Eventually, though, I started to notice something about Auntie that seemed off. Maybe it was just my imagination, but I would sometimes notice Auntie randomly smiling for no apparent reason as she was staring off into the abyss, almost like she was in a trance-like state. On a particular day, while it was raining outside and dark, I summoned the courage to ask Auntie, Pao, kaping lon siye yamora china. Auntie, what is it that you're smiling about? For a moment in which seemed like an eternity, Auntie just stared off into space with that smile, and then turned to me and said in a stagnant voice, The time is almost here, son. Perplexed, I asked her what she meant by that. Pao, Auntie, by you saying that, what does this mean? In that instant, her smile turned into a sadistically stained smile, almost like her jaws were unhinged. She then said, Oh, oh, you don't know? I wasn't sure what to make of her question, but at that instant, I felt a sudden urge to run away. As I turned to run, I heard a satanic laugh coming from Auntie as she pointed at me, yelling, Tu, yemen kietia? Go yun kiechi deeply. Son, you can keep on running, but you will never get away. As soon as I got to the door leading out of the house, my parents miraculously opened the door and saw that I was in distress. My father held me and asked frantically, Tu, con trai đã chứ? Hey, Paul đâu tư. Son, what are you scared of? And where's Auntie? I turned around and pointed slowly into the dark hallway. My mom at that point, confused as to what was going on and scared, got out her flashlight and turned it on. My father took the flashlight and walked down the hallway. After a minute, he came back and was confused. He couldn't find Auntie, but noticed that the side door was opened. My mom, terrified at this point, had my father and I go upstairs to go look for my siblings as she called 911. My siblings were fine as they were sleeping. When the cops showed up, they took statements from my parents and sent out a search party to look for Auntie. A Hmong officer who was at the scene showed my parents a picture of a woman and asked if by chance this was the same person who was babysitting my siblings and I. We all just stood there in silence, confused, but apparently We were told that a similar incident had occurred just a few weeks prior, reported by a local family who had hired this woman as a nanny, and things eventually went south. This crazy lady had been on the run for quite some time, changing her name from family to family. My parents were enraged at this point, and not soon as my parents were presented the photo, an officer had found Aunty hiding in a bush nearby, drenched and still laughing. As the officers arrested her and took her into the squad vehicle, she smiled in my direction, and what she said next still lingers in the back of my mind to this day. Almost got you. These damn words have been engraved in my mind. And even today, I am always feeling unnerved when talking to elder women. There's just something about when they smile. It just freaks me out. But I don't hold this against my parents, as they didn't know either. But with that being said, I leave you with this message. Please, if you are a parent or a guardian, do your research and do a thorough interview with whomever you are trusting with your kids. We fall into this trap that just because someone is nice and is of the same kin, we throw our trust in as if there is nothing to worry about. But let my experience be a teaching moment. For it not me surviving this, who knows how many victims the smiling auntie would have claimed. Hello everyone. Thank you again for joining me tonight for tonight's episode. This story was submitted over to me by a good friend named Cooper, in whom I've known for years. But again, I would like to hear from you. What are some of your scary stories? Do you have any scary hunting stories? How about scary fishing stories? Or scary stories from the funeral home? Once again, I'll leave my email address in the description box below. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. Once again, thank you for the love and support that you've continued to show me. And if you've enjoyed this video tonight, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And oh yeah, you might want to double check your doors and make sure that they're locked tonight, 'cause you never know.